Hello and thanks for joining me. It's Darren from DCD Transporters. We've got another little video for you today with this lovely little black van that's behind us. When we say little, probably about as big as you're going to get for a transporter. It's a long wheelbase and high top van. So a bit unusual. I'd like to say when a crafter is trying to pretend it's a transporter, what do you get? Probably this. So stick with us. I want to show you what we've done to this one and why I think this high top is a little bit special. So let's go through a few details of the actual van itself. So this particular van started life as a panel van, so it was a Highline. So a T6, a 2017 long wheelbase. So the long wheelbase does give you that extra bit of space. So that 400mm approximately, that's added sort of down here, just behind the sliding door and the wheel arch. So it does make the van that little bit longer. And of course that does mean you're going to get quite a bit more space on the inside, you know, furniture, storage, all of the good stuff. So we do like a long wheelbase. So the owner brought us this van. It's like an all black edition really, isn't it? So as you can see, it's got all black alloys, all black paintwork, really, really lovely thing. And they'd already taken it to a high top roof specialist. And once they'd put the roof on, they then brought it to us to then get the rest of the interior finished, all lined out, insulated, and then obviously our furniture added as well. So I want to talk you through that. So if we go over to the van, we'll see that we've added a couple of windows in the side of it, both opening windows, and we've added a window on the tailgate as well. All of those are fitted with the van shades blackout blinds, and the interior looks a little bit like this. So yeah, this is our UShape, which you've seen before, you know, so obviously then with a swivel on the double seat, and then going in through the van, you can see what we've been up to. So this particular one, again, features the Wallace diesel cooker, a really great little cooker, that runs off the diesel from the main fuel tank. Next to that, we've got the little Dometic sink. Underneath, the controller for the cooker, and then the Dometic fridge. There are loads and loads of storage in this one, so I'll just show you. If I jump in here, obviously the sink's quite a regular looking unit with the tap, obviously it extends out in there, that's very nice. Oak worktops, there's the Wallace diesel cooker, really easy to use. So you like the van shades like we said, and then we've got our top cabinet, and then going around into the U-shape, as you can see. So the U-shape gives you a just slightly bigger than 6 foot bed, so really, really nice. So it's about, what is it? It's just over 1800mm long. I think it's 1820. So that's going to give you a really lovely, comfortable sleep. And of course, being a long wheelbase, the offside section, so down on the driver's side, is nearly as long as what you'd have on the longer section of a short wheelbase. So that space is so usable, it's great. So, and then we've got our 360 table, which obviously orientates in whatever position you want. And we've done some oak panel details, and then all the switchgear just off to the side. So you've got solar controller, 240 sockets, switches for the lighting, 12 volt, USB A and C, and then touch light and control for the ambient light underneath the cabinet. So let me get spun around and I'll show you the roof. So I think this is where you're going to appreciate the difference between that normal tin top van, or even having a pop top, to what you've got in a high top van. So just acres and acres of space. So it's like having a crafter, as we said earlier. So the crafter is a very usable standing space inside the van. On the front wheel drive versions, they are a little bit taller than rear wheel drive and 4-wheel drive, but you know, generally most people can stand up in a front wheel drive crafter and have still quite a bit of room, something that you can't do in a transporter. So this is a very neat solution for that particular problem. If you don't want to have the fuss of a pop top, then this has got to be a great way forwards. So with all this continuous standing space along the van, it's just fantastic, isn't it? So minimal fuss, just rock up, no pop top to fuss with, nothing to worry about if it's a bit windy or having to think, oh, you know, it's like blowing a gale outside or something like that, where you're worried about having the roof elevated. This, obviously being a solid roof, is not going to give you any of those problems, and only the benefit. So it fits in the same spaces as what a transporter would, so you haven't got to worry about the parking issues that maybe a crafter would bring by being slightly wider, a little bit longer. So yeah, a really good alternative, one that's not particularly popular in the UK. We do see a lot more of these in Europe than what we do here in you know, England, Scotland and Wales. And I'm not really sure why that is, because it really is a great solution. I suppose really it's down to aesthetics, isn't it? Is it something you're happy with? You know, is it something that you know, that you can be comfortable, you know, in the style of? But I think as a practical thing, it's really got to be worth a go, isn't it? So this particular one, we've carpet lined and insulated on the top here. It's very similar on the sides to what a pop top would be, so it gets the strength added back into the van after they've cut the roof out by putting these steel channels in alongside, so that braces it. That also allows for a bed to be put up on the top here, so you've got a 3-part bed that you can position out, and that's again very decent big space, and all carpet lined. It does look a very cozy place to be, and like I said, the storage in this thing is amazing. So it's like the masses and massive of storage that you've got, including this great big cupboard that's behind me. So these 2 doors reveal access into what is literally from the front of the cab area going right the way to the front. This is a mammoth spot. So if all the stuff you're going to be able to hide in there, I can literally lose my arm in there and I'm still not touching completely the front of the van. So what a fabulous bit of storage space that's going to be. So duvets, jackets, you know, pillows, all of that stuff that's a bit awkward to store while you're moving around in the van, and perhaps moving from campsite to campsite, that you might have to have rolled up and sitting on a bench somewhere. No, this is totally going to be away in this van, isn't it? So yeah, lovely space there. So this particular one, I really should talk about the colour on it, shouldn't I? So this particular one is Ocean Velour. So that is a laminate finish that we've added to the ply, and it does look a little bit more bluey in the video than what it actually is. It is a lot more sort of teal coloured. So if you do look it up online, I think they've got a better colour chart for it than what the camera suggests it might be. But I think you'll agree, you know, what a fabulous colour it is. So we have nicknamed it the beach hut build, because like all the beautiful beach huts you see down by the coast and have vivid colours, this is exactly like that. And so that teal has been accented through everything. And we can then get the van shades to match with that in their teal finish as well. And we've got cushions that we'll show you when we spin the camera around. So just looking into the back there, we can't get the 3rd panel out, and then obviously me get up there and film at the same time. So I wanted to show you what a lovely cozy little spot it is. So really nice, and it's massive. It's such a big bed. That is going to be just the most comfortable night's sleep. Get a really nice mattress up on there, you know, super cozy little space. Really nice. Got USB sockets down at the very back there, and a little flexi light as well, so you've got a little reading light in there. So yeah, what a great little space it is. You've also got the vent at the top, and then the 2, you know, little side sort of porthole windows, as you can see across the side there. So yeah, really lovely. So here we are back down on the ground floor, sitting on the U-shape lounge, and you'll know if you've seen our videos before how passionate we are about the U-shape, and there's a good reason for that. I do believe it's just the best layout you can get in the van. If you don't need the seat belts in the back, this has got to be the layout of, you know, layout of choice. It's just the most practical way of getting that natural environment of sitting opposite each other, maximum amount of storage, the most, like I said, natural seating area, and the biggest bed as well, particularly on a long wheelbase van. You know, that is not to be underestimated. I don't care what you do with a rock and roll bed, you know, they are a bit of a faff, you know, getting them into position, putting them away, you know, you can't, yeah, they're just not for me. I do much prefer the UShape. It's really easy to use. You know, you've got loads and loads more storage underneath it, and unless you're going to go for a full width rock and roll bed, in which case you'll have zero furniture in there anyway, you won't get a bigger bed than what you would if you had the UShape. So there's a very good reason why I think you should consider it. Like I said, you know, come over, we'll show you ours, and you can see for yourself why we think they are so great. So yeah, this particular one, like we said, is all been trimmed in the teal. So I wanted to show you that particular cushion set in just a second. You see that it matches the van chaise behind me. So let's flip the camera around and we'll have a talk through that. Yeah, so here we are. So the teal cushions with, yeah, like I said, there's another oak panel on that side. And then van shades again, the oak dining table. Let me show you why these are a really great little table. I'll put the camera up on the worktop and then you'll be able to see me operate it. So compared to what you might normally have, if you've got a rock and roll bed, you may have a table on a rail. They're never going to be brilliant, because not only are you in a very unnatural seating position next to each other trying to eat something where the table isn't long enough to go all the way across the van, it's very restrictive, you know. So this setup that we have in the UShape, some, you know, we've been asked to put the Sequoia leg in, which is a single sort of pole leg that you can have then mounted onto the floor. But I believe these 360 tables probably offer the best setup. So the table is set off center. So that means that you can twiddle the table round, and obviously that then shunts the table about. So if we turn it a full 180, so from that will then bring the table further this way. So you can then sit towards the end of the bed and operate it. You can also then move it side on. And like I said, then have the skinny end towards you this way, and then the table going away. So you can then fit more people around it. So you will get at least 3 people sitting around here quite comfortably. If you then move it into the center, turn it that way around, then just about you can have 4 sitting on this table, or sharing a quarter of it. So yes, it's not going to ever be the biggest table in the world. We are limited to the space that we have in a camper van, but I challenge you to do that with a rock and roll bed. Get 4 people around it trying to have dinner. I think most of you will be eating off your laps. So this is a much better solution, and of course it just sits everywhere. There isn't a position that, you know, you won't be able to dine at. Like I said, this for me is where it's at, you know. One other little interesting thing to note is these 360 tables, they do all stow really nicely. So the leg, that's the upright, and then the cross piece, and then onto the actual table itself is a little bracket that keeps everything all together. So when you move them, or you store them overnight, as you've got the van into the night mode, then these are all neatly together. So going through some of the functionality of the little camper, we've got some sockets and display on the side here. So night heater control on the far right, as you can see, 240 sockets with USB-C and USB-A. A little solar controller that's giving you all your info on panel output, and then into your battery. And then to the left you've got touch controller for the under cabinet lighting, and then another USB-C and A running off the 12-volt leisure battery. Underneath that you've got switch for the tap, most importantly, so you can isolate that if you ever were to have a problem, so you can turn the tap off physically. and then another 12-volt socket, and then the switches for the additional lights in the roof. It's got a lovely little drawer where you can put your potty, and those drawer runners are weight bearing, so you don't need to take the potty out. They are, I believe, they're 150 kilo runners, so they are going to be good to go. And then you've got over here, you've got your usual automatic, which we spun the door round, so it works better in a UK setup. Colour coded front, nice little utensils drawer sitting in there, and then storage cupboard underneath with your water tank. Like I said, the colour combo on this is just lovely. Like I said, we affectionately call it our beach hut build, because what a lovely thing that it is with the ship deck flooring. Yeah, looking fantastic. Auto term night heater, which we didn't mention. That's obviously in a rotating little bezel off the floor there. So yeah, you've got overnight heater or your diesel heater as well. Yeah, what a great little space. It's so practical having that roof up there, permanent height, without having to have such a massive van as a crafter, so no parking worries. Fantastic. Let's go around the back and I'll show you the rear of the furniture and what we've done on there for storage. So let's take a look at the furniture that we've installed on the back, and it's got our slide out kitchen, which again we'll show you if you've not seen before. So you've got storage on the end here, nice little door gaining you access into the driver's side of the van, and then you've got the big pull-out drawer that we're a massive fan of, and that is going to have your kitchen unit on here. So they're 200 kilo runners, so you can literally put as much weight on there as what you'd ever need to be able to, and they lock in position as well, so once they're out you hear them click, and now they won't slide back in away. And you've got storage in here, so you can put all of your food, tins, cooking bits and bobs, all stored in there. And then you've got another storage area in here, which is your drawer. And this pull-out drawer has got a chopping board built in to the top of it. So this is a really lovely solid oak chopping board that you can either store in the drawer there and use as a bit of extra space. So when you've got your Kadak or your twin burner cooker sitting up on the top here and you're cooking, you can either pull this out and leave the oak in place, and it can sit there as an additional area, or you can pull the chopping board away, put that up on the top there, so then you've got a prepping area, put the drawer back in, and then you carry on with your cooking. And obviously you've created twin holes on this side here, so you can run the gas feed from your cooker into your cupboard, so your little gas bottles or any other sort of butane, propane little gas bottles that you can fit onto your cooker will go into that cupboard as well. So really, really clever little kitchen area. And of course, if you've got a tailgate, then you're also a little bit more protected from the elements, and it just creates a really, really nice cooking solution, because not everybody wants to cook inside the van, and creating all of those smells and heat and moisture. So to be able to cook outside is just a wonderful thing. So you're still in the van, so all your equipment stays in the van, secure and safe and stowed, and then when you come to need it, you can obviously then just pull out this massive kitchen area with your cooker already on it, prepping area all ready to go, and it's just a fantastic thing. So really, really good use of space. And like I said, all stows in there, and then once you unlock it and then back in, and then it clicks into the van, so it won't release until you release the handle. So what a fantastic, fabulous little thing that is. So let me show you it as a bed and then as the two side pods without the U-shape little panel in the middle. So as you can see here, we've got it in the U configuration, and it's very, very easy to change into the two side pods. So then you can have a load through or a walk through area if you prefer. So all we need to do is just remove this cushion, pop it up out of the way, and then we'll move the flap up and over and underneath the other cushion. Yeah, so here we are with the flap just lifted over, placed back underneath the cushion. You've obviously got your cushion pod over there, and now you've got a lovely walk through area. So if you are outside and you're in and out of the tailgate, then you don't have to be using the sliding door. You can then come in through the back as well. So really nice, easy access sort of area. And if you are then using the van as a van, you can get some pretty decent sized stuff in there. Kayak will probably fit in there, as well as mountain bikes and other gear, whatever else you're doing. Really, really nice little hobby van. So the pod that sits on the driver's side is divided into two. And the reason we do that is we like to have this, what I call little mucky area. So this is an ideal cupboard for putting all of your wheel chocks, jack, your tent pegs, all of the mucky things that you want when you first pull up at the campsite and you need to start getting your van ready. So your awning will probably fit in there. Our awning does. The canopy that we sometimes use, that fits in there. And then your wheel chocks, most importantly, they're going to be the first thing you want to grab so you can then level your van out. So with your help of your little level gauge, two nice wheel chocks sitting in there, absolute treat. Open the tailgate, open the cupboard, chocks out and then ready, and then van level, and then you can start doing all your other bits and bobs. So that's just a really, really handy little storage cupboard. And because it is divided, it leaves the other side clean and clear. So in ours, obviously, which isn't got the benefit of having this really lovely high top roof, I put all of our bedding in there, so it's top loading. So you just move the cupboard out of the way, and then you lift up the cover, and you've got access to a really nice little storage area where you can put all your bedding, pillows, cushions, and blankets and bits and bobs. So here we go, as the bed, and it is massive. That is a huge bed, so fantastic. Easy to convert as well, so it's just a case of moving this cushion up, folding the panels over, and then replacing the backrests into the center, and then putting this little square on at the end there. And it's as easy as that. Really comfortable, really good sized bed. Like I said, the passenger side, the driver's side is as long on the long wheelbase as the long side on a short wheelbase. So it's really, really decent bed. So there is only a fraction of it missing by having the cupboard over there, which I'd still retain. I wouldn't make the cupboard any shorter, because that's a really nice practical space underneath the window, and it does give you the maximum amount of usable space for a sink and a cooker on there. So you really want to be keeping that. But obviously, if you're not worried about that and you're not going to be doing any cooking, or you don't want a sink in there either, then of course then you could have both pods the same length and create a really big bed that way. But what a lovely space that is. Huge bed, really comfy, standing height. What a great van. So thanks very much for joining me. I think you'll agree that this is now a fabulous little van, and one that's super, super practical. And if you're somebody that doesn't particularly want to drive something like a Crafter, that's worried about the size of it and the overall dimensions of it, then maybe something like this is going to suit you really well. And I think there's no reason why we shouldn't see more of them on the road. Like I said, the Europeans have been doing these high top conversions now for a long time. So I think we're a little bit behind in that. So nice compact van with a decent footprint that you can still get into a parking space in most supermarkets, and is nice and easy to drive, not much bigger than a normal family car. And you've got the massive practicality of it being a camper van and one that you can permanently stand up in. So there is something to be said about that roof. So I really like it. I think that's a really great feature. So thanks very much for joining us. I do hope you've enjoyed the video. Please give it a thumbs up if you have, and obviously subscribe to us as well so you can see further videos and new content as we bring it out. So we like to try and bring you the videos of the vans that we've had in and those that we've converted, and of course the other bits and bobs that we've done on them as well. So all the conversions, modifications, new parts and things as we go along. So do hit that subscribe and hit the little bell button so you can get a notification of when we bring you out the new videos. So in the meantime, thanks very much, and we will see you in the next one. Take care. Cheers. Bye bye.